What is up, guys? KFC back, bringing us our next war recap video. This one against a Spanish clan that I cannot pronounce. A 67-64 victory, but unfortunately, it just was not a good war for us at all. Lots of infighting inside the clan. Lots of personal direct messages coming my way about this person said this, and this person's trying to do this, and so this war recap video is definitely going to have a little bit more of an assertive tone to it. Definitely some things could have gone better. And as you see here, missed that top Town Hall 11. Apparently Treadwell was fighting with his girlfriend because he can't get away for 3 minutes to do an attack. We got 2 here on the top town of the second Town Hall 11, 2 on the Town Hall 10, and we 3 most of the 9s. Unfortunately, we leave not only 1, 2, but 3 Town Hall 9s up. So just absolutely devastating. So we did not meet our goal. Our goal at this point for this war would have been a 72 to put 2 on 3, 2 on 2, 2 on 1. So yeah, not a great war, but let's go ahead and get into some of the action here. Let me go ahead and go to war events. I think a big reason why this war was different from a lot of our other ones was just our start. If we just kind of look here on how we started in our first couple of attacks, we go 0 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we were 0 for 7, almost an hour and a half into war. And then Jay Sweezy finally puts us on the board. But unfortunately, momentum did not carry over. We then go 0 for 4, 5, 6, 7. So we basically had 2 for 16 in our first 16 attacks. So the first 4 hours of war just did not go our way. And there are definitely some things that we can learn from that. There were some guys that were not on GroupMe and they were not on TeamSpeak, and that's ultimately going to be something that we're going to start cracking down on. It's my job to also kind of crack down on that. I have the list here of people who at least posted a plan in the GroupMe, so obviously not ideal. We'd obviously like everyone to use TeamSpeak, but if you can't get on TeamSpeak for any reason, GroupMe is a nice way to make sure that we know that you're still staying engaged and that you're active. So Onyx was a guy who submitted a plan on GroupMe. He was also on TeamSpeak. We had Jake, make username, submitted both of his plans on GroupMe and was also on TeamSpeak. We had Dee submit at least one plan that we saw. And then we saw, let's see here, Brad submitted a plan for 12 along with Lazy and Nick, who is no longer with us. I don't think any of you guys, though, got on TeamSpeak, and I only saw one plan from each of you. So, Brad, I'm not sure where your plan was for 11. Lazy, I'm not sure where your plan was for that beautiful 47% that you had there on 18. Nick, you're dead to me. QE, our new guy, submitted plans for both attacks. That was great. Webby, also a new guy, submitted plans for both attacks. So, thank you guys. So, those were our guys that submitted some sort of a GroupMe plan. And then we had a whole handful of guys that at some point in time jumped on TeamSpeak. So G-Bay, Liquid, LT, Ducking, Jake, Graveland, Todd, Onyx, Damasta, and Son of J all at some point jumped on TeamSpeak. So you see guys like Sandman, who we didn't see any plan from. That being said, he was a Town Hall 10 that dipped on 2 Town Hall 9s. I'll touch on that topic a little bit later in terms of when in the war that is supposed to happen. Let's see, who else did I call out here? Brainiac Z, you had a decent war. You had a triple on 24 and then a 74 on 11, but unfortunately I don't see your name on the list. And so what I want to stress, guys, is that if you are continuously not planning and you are just kind of going in by yourself, you leave leadership no choice but to really just look at your 3-star percentage. And by looking at your 3-star percentage, it forces us to make a decision that basically says, is this player who's going to do attacks without consulting anybody, are we willing to take on this risk of this 3-star percentage? So for example, I'm going to start throwing out some numbers here. Brainiac Z is someone who we don't tend to hear a lot from, and your 3-star percentage is 44%. So you're asking us to decide if 44% is good enough for you to not engage in the social side of the game. For reference, for most long-term players of the clan, Docatron, who is now back with us, he is also someone who doesn't really participate in the social part of the game as much. His 3-star percentage is like 85. So it's much easier to look at the guy that has an 85% 3-star percentage and say, okay, well, this person doesn't participate. He plays the game by himself, than it is to look at the guy that has a 44% 3-star percentage. So Brainiac, if you want to stay in the clan and you want to participate in these high-level wars, you really got to start talking. But you are not the only person who is not on my list. Roost, you are also not on my list, and you also went 0 for 2. Didn't see any plans from you. Didn't see you on TeamSpeak. I will concede the fact that I don't know if any conversations happen in-game, but in general, planning does not happen well in-game. Planning happens on GroupMe. Planning happens on TeamSpeak. In-game is just a very poor way to plan anyway, so I don't want that to be the kind of comeback. Sai, another person who we didn't really hear from, your 3-star percentage is unfortunately down in the 20s. You've got a 28% 3-star percentage. I don't think we'll ever kick someone out of the clan who tries really, really hard and is planning really, really hard, but not quite getting the results, right? Like, think of Onyx, and that's not to pick fun at Onyx, but for a long time, Onyx went through a kind of a slide, but he was always grinding, he was always planning his GroupMe style attacks, and there was never any doubt that he would be a part of the clan long term. And now Onyx is on fire. Since we came over to the new Clash tools, Onyx has a 100% 3-star percentage. But Sai, you got 3-star percentages in the 20s, and we don't hear from you during wars like this. So we definitely need those guys that I mentioned, Sai, Roost, and Brainiac Z, to kind of step it up a little bit, because we at least heard from everybody else. And so there's definitely some criticism that came, I believe, unfairly about certain attacks and certain people rushing attacks. It's very easy to look at the results and go, oh, well, the clan went 2 for 16 to start the war. Clearly, we're being poor in our planning. I think that's an unfair assessment by the players that were making that assertion. All these guys logged time, most of these guys, logged time on TeamSpeak. They were putting up GroupMe plans. Sometimes the GroupMe plans get put up and no one responds to them, and there's nothing that player can do to kind of get feedback. That's a team-level issue that we got to solve. If guys like QE and Webby especially are putting up 2 GroupMe plans each and no one's responding to them, that's not on them. That's on the team as a whole. So definitely, if you're a Wave 2 guy, it's possible that these first 16 attacks all should have been something that you took a look at on prep day or kind of as war day starts. And we understand that people have kind of lives outside the game, and we get that. But it only takes a few minutes to jump on GroupMe, look over a plan, say 1 or 2 things, and just kind of give the person a push. There definitely were some attacks where I know that Jake, I think, his first attack, McUsername, let me find that one real quick, where he went in and did not have the right troop in his clan castle. And yes, that is absolutely something that we need to kind of fix. So Jake obviously bringing a max attack here. We've actually 3'd this base before. I remember it because it has this awkward entry angle over here. He is coming in the exact same way that we've 3'd it before, so good on Jake for remembering that. Coming in here, he's going to bust open this with a quad quake, but from my knowledge, he had a wrong troop in his clan castle. I guess he wanted another hound, I guess, for this attack. So it still looks like a decent attack, so I'm not sure what the big fuss was over Jake's attack, unless I, for some reason, have the wrong attack, but I don't believe I do. So I think Jake wanted to cold blood this base, and unfortunately he brought a Shattered. And so there you see he has 3 Lava Hounds left with 3 air defenses up. So that has a... Check the status page before you go in. I can't say it enough times. We've had almost once a war, there seems to be someone that's going in kind of incorrectly with the wrong troop. And that's just really, really low level. I can't say it any plainer than that. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We also, in this war, we had just a couple of other things that I want to point out before we get into the meat of the attacks. We have 22 people, 22 Town Hall 9s, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 14 people that use the wave link to sign up for attacks. So that means we have 8 people that are either disengaged and don't feel like putting their name on it, or they're using it as like I'm going to join Wave 2, so therefore I don't have to put my name on the list. I think just in terms of organizing and kind of having a better idea, we should all probably just get into the habit of using the Wave link. Even if you are Wave 2, just put your name down so people kind of know. in terms of the people that put their names on the wave one, I'm pretty sure everyone, with the exception of Doc King, finished his attacks kind of in the appropriate time. So Ignasty's attack here with 2 hours and 45 minutes left was an attack that Doc King signed up for wave one. And Doc King got his first dose of carrying multiple accounts in war, and actually reached out to me and said hey, I don't know how you do it, but yeah, it's tough, and especially when you start 0 for 3, you can definitely lose some confidence there. But obviously, with signing up for wave one, you're making a commitment to do both attacks in the first 8 hours. And unfortunately, after going 0 for 3, he just felt like he couldn't do it and kind of self-selected out of that process. But he did sign up for wave one. So I just want to encourage you to kind of continue to have a short memory, take a deep breath, and get in there if you sign up for wave one. Even if you do have a tough war, looking over the rest here to see if anyone else from wave one kind of did not get in there, kind of in the specified time. It looks like most people from wave one kind of got in there. Yeah, so here would be the cutoff for wave one, and everyone got in. So with the exception of DK, who had a tough war but did eventually get that triple, everyone from wave one at least did go in that first 8 hours. So good job there. Let's start watching some attacks, because I know that you guys probably didn't tune into this video just to watch me talk the entire time. Let's start off with a good example and a bad example of cleanup. So we're going to skip all the way up here to number 7, and we're going to watch Jay Sweezy try and take this base out. Is going to be not quite so successful, but I'm going to fast forward this in 4x speed. Going to create a funnel with some minions there on the right side. Drops his Archer Queen down with a few healers on her. And the purpose of this Queen Walk is to nab these 2 air defenses here, I believe, is what Jay Sweezy was going for. Down goes the Rage Spell on the Archer Queen Walk here. He's going to start his Cold Blood portion, but unfortunately his Golem is going to take a walk as the Tesla's going to pop. His King is going to go in there and get the Archer Queen while his Archer Queen handles the Clan Castle Hound. In goes some balloons on the side, picking off those defenses. So good heads-up play there. And then the Queen here is going to break through the compartment, take out the air defense and the sweeper. So far so good, really. Tesla Farm does pop there on the right, and that's going to chew through one of his hounds, get a real low defense. Seeking Air Mine goes off. Ultimately, he's going to get all of the defenses down. Unfortunately, he's going to end with a 2-star because he just runs out of time. So it was a really, really good attack. The correct way to do cleanup, or the way that we believe that cleanup should be done in our clan, not the correct way, but at least the Goodfellas way of doing cleanup, is to do what Todd did. And so I want you to notice the timestamps on these 2 attacks here. Jay Sweezy goes in with 20 hours and 20 minutes remaining in war. Todd cleans up the same exact base with 20 hours and 3 minutes left in the war. It's a high-level understanding of what worked in Jay Sweezy's attack, what didn't, how can I improve on it. So here you're going to see Todd do the exact same thing, but with the knowledge of the kind of Tesla over here at 9 o'clock, he changes the Golem portion, and that's going to really kind of be the key to the raid here. So he's going to start the exact same way that Jay Sweezy started, with the minions to create the funnel and the Archer Queen with the healers. She's going to walk the same exact way that Jay Sweezy did. Going to use the Rage Spell in the same exact spot right here that Jay Sweezy used his. So everything to this point is a carbon copy of Jay Sweezy. Now, Todd does have extra levels on his heroes, but drops the Golem there to tank the 2 Archer Towers and the Tesla, and then drops 4 balloons to easily pick off, boom, all 4 of those pieces of point defense. Wall breakers go in, open up that compartment. He needed those 4 pieces of point defense to go down before his King would go in, and now this attack is going so much better than how Jay Sweezy's went. He knew what corrections to make. He made the correct ones. Going to drop a jump spell there, and what that's going to do, by not connecting that compartment there, this compartment was huge, because now his Queen is standing in the different compartment, and now she's going to snipe the other air defense, and then she's going to take out that clan castle. And so now all he has to do now, all the air portion stuff is kind of already taken out. He's got 2 hounds for 1 remaining air defense, and he's easily going to kind of take out the rest of his base with the spells that he has available. Cleanup is much more efficient. He's got wizards and minions going. Everything's going to kind of meet up here in the middle, and he wins this raid with almost 10 seconds left on the clock. So this is just a phenomenal example of how in wars like this, you can have a high 90% failed raid and it should be automatic on the very next attack. So now let's look at an example of one that did not go as well. So we're going to watch LT early on here. LT is going to take out base 15. And LT actually has a very, this is a fresh hit, and he still is going to bring the Archer Healer trick for a Hound that he expects to be in the CC. And so I'm gonna get to the cleanup part next, but just in terms of kind of having a plan for the base, I loved all the things that LT did here. Just in terms of, I'm sure he had a backup plan. If he lured that clan castle and it was not a Hound, I'm sure he had a plan for that healer. But he is going to lure the clan castle here. It's going to be a Hound, and he now has the Archer Healer trick that he's going to put over on that builder hut there at 9 o'clock. And so I love that heads-up play. I think the only thing about this attack that I didn't like was that he brought 2 poison spells. And so undoubtedly that those 2 poison spells were going to be used on the CC if like a dragon and 2 loons popped. But now that the Hound popped out, he has basically 2 free uses of the poison spell, and he's not going to use them the entire raid. Just use them on something. Use them on the enemy Archer Queen. Use them on the Barbarian King. If you don't think that you can do it kind of as Skeleton Traps pops, just use them somewhere, because holding them is always just a dagger. So LT is going to show a lot of heads-up play here, just a very high-level gameplay. He's going to drop 2 golems there, and then he's going to drop a minion to create his funnel right there, and a Tesla's going to pop. So he actually very smartly drops a hog and then a wizard in behind. So just a very, very nice heads-up play. What that's going to do, that's going to allow the wizard to now go up and kind of start in on this funnel. So he's got the funnel created to the left now, with this wizard now out of range. Nope, still in range of that cannon, but just barely going to get that barrack down. He enters in from probably around 4 o'clock or so. So everything to this point is going well. This is where I would drop the poison spell. So right when he drops the jump, get that poison down. It would slow down that level. I don't know sure what level that queen is. A level 20 queen. You'd save some health on your golem. The queen is the king goes in, targets the queen. Everything to this point, I believe, is going well for him. He's got 25 hogs and 3 heals in the bag. I'm going to pause this once he gets... All right, so right here. LT's attack was an attack that required 3 heals and 25 hogs to take out kind of this ring of the base from 6 o'clock to sort of 12 o'clock. I'm not even going to count this 1 archer tower, but basically if you like divide the map in half, right, if you just look at this half of the map, LT is basically saying I need 25 hogs and 3 heals to take out this half of the map. And if you look at kind of where he's going to need those heals, it kind of makes sense, right? He's probably going to need one kind of right up in this area, they need one a little bit over in this area, and then one kind of at the end here. So let's go ahead and watch kind of how he drops them. I did watch stack. I forget where he drops the heal spells. But the point is, not all... There goes the first heal spell, exactly where I thought it was. And then I assume we're going to see another one kind of over here in this corner. There it is. And then we'll see another one kind of up here. And what's ultimately going to happen is he's going to have just enough juice to get through all the defenses. He's just not going to have enough time to clean up. Everything took a little bit longer than he thought. There it goes. All the defenses are down now at this point. Has a poison spell in the bag. Unfortunately, boom, there's the mistake of the raid. Made just way too much bacon. That was not his fault. Just kind of one of those absolutely devastating doubles to hit there. Kill Squad did not trip the bomb. It removed pathing to the one side, but just obviously not the long side of it. Pups go down over there, working on those healers. Still no poison spell. Would have loved to have seen one. But ultimately, we have a very, very good blueprint for this base. We know how to take it out. We know that we've got some extra poison spells that we can be using. We got the Archer Healer trick. We got a lot of stuff that we could use. So now let's watch someone not take it out using the replay. And so, unfortunately, the victim of that is going to be not Roost on, there it is, this Roost on 15. So now the first thing you're going to look at the composition, you're going to kind of throw your hands up and you're going to be like, but Kevin, LT took hogs and Roost also brought hogs. And not only did he bring hogs, he actually brought a loon for that troll Tesla. And yes, I concede all those points. He did at least bring ground with a ground scout. The problem is, look how much he's changed. He is now bringing, he's still bringing the 3 heals, which is fantastic, but he's bringing 7 less hogs. He's bringing a few witches. He's bringing a stoned approach. There's 4 earthquakes when we know that a jump spell opened up everything that he could have ever needed. So at the very least, we could have seen this attack with 4 heals and 2 earthquakes. Or excuse me, 3 heals, a jump, and then maybe an earthquake to soften or a poison to slow down the queen, just something. But to me, and maybe you guys disagree, I'm not sure. We can always get a conversation going in our group meet chats. This to me is a very low level way of trying to change the attack that we know already worked really, really well. Losing DPS from 7 hogs is devastating. So let's go ahead and watch this attack, and as you'll see, it does not go very well. As he starts he's going to earthquake in the same exact spot that LT was able to get the jump spell in. So that to me is almost a waste of 2 extra spell spots because you don't need it. We already know. This was obviously a very heads up play. Very good, knowing that 1 loon would take out a level 7 Tesla right there. So that part I liked, but everything else I didn't like. In go the Shattern portion here. He's got 2 golems going down. He's going to take 600 years to get down his wizards and his Archer Queen. Almost 10 seconds at this point. Still no Archer Queen. He's going to do his wall breakers before his Archer Queen. Still waiting on his Archer Queen. We're at 1 minute and 49 seconds by the time she drops down. The golems went down at 2:04, so that would be 15 seconds that the Archer Queen was not down working. The witches are going to go in. Lava Hound's going to pop out. Going to have to deal with the Lava Hound now in a very highly concentrated area. We've got Expos, 2 Teslas, a cannon. We've got 2 Expos, 2 Teslas, and a cannon. Locked onto his kill squad, and now there's a Lava Hound that's going to soak up all the DPS of that queen that was not down early enough. And so what you're going to find is that this stoned approach is basically, if we pause it here, is almost going to get the same exact thing that LT's got, but now he's got 7 less hogs in order to deal with the rest of the base. And that's ultimately going to be kind of what dooms him here. He's going to drop his first heal spell in the same kind of area that LT drops his, and then he's going to kind of go around the base. But everything at this point is for nothing. It just doesn't quite get there. We've got witches that are not going to remove pathing to that double bomb in time, so he's going to make a little bit of bacon, and he's going to leave a lot of this base up. And so this is just the kind of stuff that in tougher wars, like until we can stop doing this, until we stop putting attacks like this out there, we're just always going to be the clan that starts off like 2 for 18. Because cleanups need to be the automatic part. Cleanups are really the part that we need to avoid the number going past 3. So if the enemy base has 3 defenses on it, we've done something wrong. So let's see here how many defenses from the enemy have 3 on it, and we're going to look at only Town Hall 9s. So we've got obviously some great attacks. Grazi, welcome to the clan, buddy. Taking out fresh hit. Grave, Edgar, all fresh hits on these kind of top Town Hall 9s. So we obviously have the just raw talent to get there to clear Town Hall 9s. If we can clear the top ones, obviously the bottom ones, the level, the 65, 64 weight ones, they should be easier. But here you see some of the fails here, right? Base 8 took 3, base 9 took 3, 11 took 3, 12 took 3, 13 took 3, 15 took 3, 18 took 4, 19 took 3. So what is that? And then 24 took 3. So I think that was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the Town Hall 9 bases took 3 attacks, and that's on us. If you don't feel like you're very good at cleaning up bases, put yourself in wave 1 as often as possible. If you need extra time, if you say, hey, Kevin, I can't make 2 attacks in 8 hours, I need 10 or I need 12, just let us know. Like, I'm not like some super Nazi that's going to tell you that you must get it in 8 hours if you know that you can get it in 10. We just don't want bases kind of sitting around. But as you can see here, you can start to see the devastating effects, right? Because I didn't even also realize that one of the bases that we left up with 3 attacks was LT's. So LT put up a 90 on that one, so I wonder who put up the other attack on 15. So let me go hunt that person down. I have not seen what this person has done so far. Here's Liquid, gets to be the person. So he's okay. So I remember him talking at least about this a little bit in the group me chats. So I forget what doesn't happen for Liquid, but he brings the LT composition with the loon for the Tesla. So let me see. Like I said, he was talking about this in our group me chat, and I just didn't quite hear what went on. So he gets the 1-for-1 trade down there. He grabs the hound right there. Let's see, maybe it's the archer queen that doesn't quite work over here. I think you need to have 2 archers on the same tile in order for it to work. Not sure. There goes another archer on a different tile. Still waiting for that healer to jump in and do work. Yep, so just going to have a hound fail there. I have to probably put out a video at some point about that. Something glitchy around both archers needed to be on the same tile in order for it to work. So those 2 archers, as you see, they were dropped in different spots. So he did have another archer here, and he was very disciplinedly trying to save it for the other builder's hut. But you got to drop that. I mean, there's a time where, maybe you have to use a minion on that corner hut or something, but you have to, under no circumstances, let this hound come back into play. And unfortunately, that's exactly what's going to happen to Liquid. Hound's going to come back into play. Basically, healer's just going to stand over there the entire war. She's going to come down now that the enemy, or that our archer queen is down, and she's going to kind of get blitzed away. So just unfortunate attack there by Liquid. But he at least brought the right composition and tried to do the right thing. And so it's unfortunate to see him kind of get punished for that. But yeah, so something around the archer queen needing to be on the same tile the archers needing to be on the same tile is the big component to that. All right, so let's continue here with this war recap video and some things that could have went better. Let's talk about Town Hall 10s because that was kind of a highly talked about issue. Soon as war popped, there are 2 Town Hall 11s and a Town Hall 10, and we have 3 Town Hall 10s at the top of the map with Tread Easy, Damasta, and Sandman Died. Sandman Died is a 9.5 with a 28 king, a 31 queen, but I'm pretty sure, let's go look at his base, I'm pretty sure he's got 240 camp space. He has 235 camp space, and he's got his CC done, and he's got his spells done. So he's basically, in terms of offense, he's got a decent composition. He doesn't have a lot upgraded. He doesn't have anything actually upgraded yet from his lab. So he's got a Town Hall 9 level offense, but with 235 and 5 spells. So let's go ahead and look at base 3. And the reason why I want to look at base 3 is because it highlights a lot of different dynamics in our clan. Not only the Town Hall 10s, but the Town Hall 9s as well. This is an anti-3 Town Hall 3. It's got a Town Hall that is very easily exposed. You can easily pick that off. This base should not be hit by Damasta ever. Damasta has 40 heroes. He should be waiting. Damasta and Tread Easy should be waiting till the final 4-ish hours of war if their schedules allow it. That's why I allow Town Hall 10s that do that to loot every now and again in some of our wars, because they have to ultimately gem or boost their barracks, whatever. But under no circumstances should this base be taken out by anyone other than either A, a low-level Town Hall 9, or at the very, very least, Sandman Died. So the fact that Damasta hit this base is confusing, because like I said, there's just no reason. Maybe it's because guys are transitioning out of Town Hall 9 to Town Hall 10, and maybe you feel like, oh, I have to 3-star things and I can't 3-star this base yet. 2 stars on a base that looks like this is a success. And so most of the time when I'm in war with Blue Summers, I will instantly look at the Town Hall 10s first to see, do they have offset Town Hall 10s that I can go in and 2-star, because that's going to open up our Town Hall 10s either A, if I only 1-star, it allows our Town Hall 10s a good replay at least. They'll know some Tesla locations, and they'll know some information about what's in the CC, all that kind of stuff. And then B, I forget what I was going to say for the second part, but the point remains the same, is that when bases like this pop, we need our lower level Town Hall 9s to at least give them a glance to say like, hey, like I can do this for us if that is something that we would be interested in. There's plenty of free defense, plenty of minion action can go all the way up here. You could easily haste some balloons into this archer tower, and then you can get some more minion action kind of all around the side here. And then ultimately just a golem approach from the left side is going to take out that Town Hall and easily get you 50% and put 2 stars on the base. Does it wreck our tiebreaker? Sure. But the purpose is to not have our 40-40 guy do it. And so there's 3 Town Hall 10s. There was Tread Easy, Damasta, and Sandman Died. And there were 3 high-level bases that should have been 2-starred. So the fact that Sandman Died goes in and he hits 9 and 13 is just really, really confusing to me. That is not your role anymore as the bottom Town Hall 10. The bottom Town Hall 10 in this threesome is supposed to hit base 3 and base 2 as soon as possible. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Kevin, Sylvia's base is really hard. It has an Eagle artillery. That doesn't matter, right? Like, you can still easily kind of do an Archer Queen walk, nab a ton of, start an Archer Queen walk from like way down here. You're not trying to 3-star the base. You're trying to 2-star the base. You can start an AQ walk from way down here. He's got this Expo set to ground, so that's just horrible. You can kind of easily walk all the way up here. Your healers will be safe pretty much the entire time, and then start some generic golem portion like up here. You nab the town hall, and then maybe pick off some of these. Some of these buildings that can be picked off. This gold mine can get picked off with a minion. This gold mine can be picked off with a minion. This lab can be picked off with a minion placed on the kind of the perfect spot. So you might need 2 minions in case you misplaced the first one. Over here, doesn't look like much can be picked off. So we have some decent Archer Tower coverage, but up here where you'd enter, there's some spots there. You can also haste, once again. You could haste a balloon, or a couple of balloons into this Archer Tower, and that opens up all of this for minions. So yeah, I really want to encourage guys like Sandman Dies not to panic when you see tough bases like this. It's okay to go in there and only nab a 1-star, or give a blueprint to our 40-40 guys like Tread Easy and Damasta. And so I guess the ultimate summary is this. Between Tread Easy, Damasta, and Sandman Died, bases 1, 2, and 3 all should have been hit early in war, so we at least knew where we stood. As opposed to what ended up happening, which is, as I said, we have Tread Easy and Damasta both using half of their attacks in the final hour of war, which again, that's not super uncommon in a Town Hall 10-9 war clan where the 9 part is dominant. So that's not a super big concern to me. What is a super big concern to me is that base 2 hadn't even been touched yet. So we were just basically crossing our fingers and relying on Treadwell to kind of do it by himself. But here, Sandman Died, used his second attack with 2 hours and 50 minutes left in war. So once again, I have to ask, like, why were you not hitting base 3 or base 2? Now, obviously, base 3 was here, taken out by Damasto at 624. But if we look at where your first attack was, boom, there it is at 9 hours and 32 minutes. Under no circumstances should you be ever hitting a 9. That's just very, very poor strategy. If a co-leader told you that was what they wanted you to do, if Damasta, who was kind of trying to run things, told you that was what he was going to do, he was wrong. Just flat out wrong. It's not appropriate to take out a Town Hall 9 in that sense. Damasta should not have been taken out the Town Hall 10 with a high percentage 2-star. So just ultimately, some very, very structural level things need to be fixed on our end. Town Hall 10s need to get out of this mindset that they need to wait on Town Hall 9s. I remember with 39 out of 50 attacks, Damasta was reaching out to Liquid and a couple of these other Town Hall 9 guys that ended up going near the end, and he was saying, like, we're waiting on you guys. You're waiting on nothing. Base 2 was open. That needed to be 2-starred. If you want to go, you can go on base 2. You do not need to wait on Town Hall 9s. We knew that we were not going to clear the Town Hall 9s, but all of them at least had been 2-starred, and the Town Hall 10, the Town Hall 11 needed to be 2-starred. So don't wait on Town Hall 9s. Go on the clear Town Hall 11s that need to be hit. I'm going to go ahead and play another attack here. Just because it's been a while. I know this video is going to be one of those. It's less for our viewer. We have 100 subscribers now, which is fantastic. Thank you all. I'm going to put out some sort of a special 100 subscriber recap video soon. But this video is less for the people outside of our clan. This is for us to figure out how can we do this better in wars like this that are anti-3. Let's go ahead and take a look at that base that took 4 times to get 3-starred here. Base 18, which was tripled by Liquid. So what I'm going to do is I actually just got a group me from Damasta giving me his thoughts on this war. So that should be fun times. So let me go ahead and play Liquid's attack. I'm going to be silent for the 3 minutes that this attack is going on while I read his group me. And then I will come back with his thoughts and address them. All right, so I'm going to speed the rest of this attack up here. Good job by Liquid. Clearing that base. Took 4 hits and still kind of brought us to the end here with Liquid having his Arch Queen and Golem kind of doing cleanup. But got the triple at the end of the day. And so now let's get to the final piece of feedback here. So a bunch of people kind of PM'd me. And so now I'm going to address Demasta directly. And I'm also going to address some of his concerns as well. So the first thing that I could say, I'll start off, I guess, by first addressing Demasta. You are someone who's clearly very theoretical. I'm going to play attacks in the background while I do this. Demasta, you're very clearly a very theoretical player. But at the end of the day, you don't have the credibility in our clan to kind of be the shot caller. And that can be tough for someone who maybe feels like he has a lot to say, and I get that. But you've done 1 war with us, you 2-starred a Town Hall 10, and you bullied a Town Hall 9 with your 40-40 heroes. So, I mean, to a certain extent, if you feel like a process is broken, you kind of have to bite your tongue until you establish some level of credibility in terms of, oh, this guy can triple Town Hall 10s, low-level Town Hall 10s in war, before you can really start kind of dictating action. Because ultimately, that's what I have co-leaders for. I was not in this war, and so I had to kind of deal with a lot of personal direct messages. But I was out of this war. I sit wars. If we have 21 people, I sit myself so that you guys could all war. And so I took a little bit of a break, backed out of this war. And so now I'm just kind of doing this recap video to try and help get us to a better spot. But that's what I have co-leaders for. I have Liquid is kind of the top co-leader at the moment. If I had to create sort of a hierarchy of who I kind of expect to kind of run things, Son of Jay would kind of be right up there next to Liquid. If either one of those 2 guys want to dictate war strategy, that is their prerogative to do so. As my co-leaders, and I know that Liquid, when there was 8 hours left in war, he started tagging people and saying, get on this base, get on this base. And there was a certain point where I looked at the clash tools where we had 8 attacks left. 2 of them were Treadwells, 1 of them was Demasta, and then 5 was Town Hall 9s. All the 5 remaining Town Hall 9s had assigned bases to them. So Liquid was doing his job of organizing the war, which is what I have him as a co-leader for. So I think that the best thing that I can say right now is that possibly Demasta, what you need to do is take a little bit of a step back. If you want to reach out to me one-on-one and say, like, hey, this is what I see as broken, absolutely reach out to me. But when you do it in the public space, when you do it in game, and you definitely come off as someone who's saying, like, we're not doing this right, we're not doing this right, we're not doing this right, and there never seems to be a solution to it. There's just a bunch of kind of complaining, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. So my pitch to you would be, instead of doing all your complaining in game, where other players eventually reach out to me and say, Damas is doing a lot of complaining, just reach out to me one-on-one and give me your laundry list of issues, and then I'll kind of take care of it from there, and I'll kind of see, I'll look into it, right? This is what I'm doing right now, right? I'm putting out a long 40-plus minute war recap video just so that we can get a little bit better. So now let me get to your feedback directly, and I'm just going to read it because why not? Let's get it out in the open. You say that you have 0 problems if we don't clear all the Town Hall 9s because of mis-execution. But you feel like it was because of poor planning and communication towards the beginning of the war. You can't be on TeamSpeak at that time, but many others can. So the first thing that I could say to that is that there were definitely some individuals and individuals that I've already kind of called out to try to make themselves accountable that were not planning, right? The Psy, Roost, Brainiac Z, those guys were not planning. But we do have guys like Grazi, QE, Webby, guys that were putting up GroupMe plans that I saw did not have a ton of feedback kind of given to them. And that's on the team as a whole as opposed to anyone in particular. I definitely disagree with your assertion that it was because of poor planning at the beginning. Of those 18 attacks, I saw TeamSpeak logs and or GroupMe plans for 15 of them. So 15 out of 18 is a large amount of people that have put in some element of effort in a war that was not arranged, in a war that happened on a Monday to kind of put in time to 3-star those bases. I think what you're more or less saying is that you didn't like maybe all the attacks that were coming in. Maybe you would have done them a little differently, but that's unfortunately just a part of a team game that you're just going to have to get used to. Um, Almost every single one of my attacks that I've ever done at Town Hall 9 has been some sort of a hog variant. So anytime someone brings a loon variant, I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure if this is going to work out. Like anytime that people start out a war 2 for 18, it's very easy to say, well, if they had just done something the way that I would have done it, maybe they would have gotten 3-star. But that's on you, actually. That's not on them. If a certain kind of style of attack is not in someone's self-awareness, it's your job as a leader. And I'm using leader in terms of like a small L here, not like actual like co-leader in the clan, but just as a leader, as a person. If someone is bringing a specific air attack that you don't feel is good, you need to say, here's why I don't think it's good, here's why I would do something else, and then let them make that decision. So let's see the rest of these kind of comments. Some of their guys ran internet anti-3 bases. Yes, I know. Some of the bases, especially their lower ones, were not super fantastic, so we should clear those 100% of the time. And there were definitely some attacks that I'm sure some guys would have liked to have had back. But yes, our wave one, I'm reading the rest of your group me, our wave one performance is what got us into that situation. One of the first 12 hits was a triple, and only 2 out of the first 18. Yes, you are absolutely correct on all of that. And you talked very briefly in your group me message around the D's Nuts attack. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that attack either. Now, that being said, I know that I was on TeamSpeak last night with Edgar. Edgar is 5 of 6 using that attack. Todd is very good when he uses that attack. You definitely start to see that certain players do it really well and certain players really don't. And so my pitch for everyone that's made it this far into the recap video is this. If you are a player that uses these nuts to make your war attacks, you really need to assess yourself based on your performance. And you need to understand, am I helping the clan or am I hurting the clan? Yes, I understand that sometimes people get bored with just doing AQ walks or just doing hogs or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if you're 1 for 10 with the D's Nuts attack, you just can't keep using it in war. Speaking of D's Nuts, here goes Edgar with it right here. You just can't keep using it in war if you're not good with it, and you need to know your skill set as a player. Because ultimately, the problem with D's Nuts is that if it doesn't work, it's really, really, really hard to build off of. It's not like an AQ walk La Loon like we saw with Todd and Jay Sweezy earlier. It's not with a hog variant like we saw with LT earlier, where you have a perfect blueprint and you can just kind of tweak the attack and make it better. So the best example that I can give of this is, like I said, look at 3 players. Look at Edgar, Todd, and the former Kamal, who is no longer with our clan. Of those 3 players, Todd and Edgar have shown a tremendous 3-star percentage when they use that attack in war. Kamal was never very good with it, and that's not to throw dirt on a former member. That's just to say that he just was not. Kamal had 3-stars in, I think, a month's time. I think he was 3 for 20, and most of those attacks were D's Nut style attacks because he really wanted to learn it. And there's a time and a place to learn attack strategies, and it's in wars where we're blowing them out. But ultimately, Kamal just never quite figured it out the way that Edgar and Todd were able to kind of figure it out. And so you just have to kind of come off of it. So for guys that keep using D's Nuts, you really got to kind of get off it. Demaster, you're just going to keep on typing, so I'm just going to keep on reading. So now I've gotten to the point with Demaster's feedback where I'm kind of live. I haven't read this puff yet, so I'm just going to kind of read it out loud. People don't use TeamSpeak, yes. Onyx as an example, you do a lot of talking with him there. Most of the time he has a 90 to 100% optimized plan. Yes, Onyx is amazing. We usually need 5 or 10 minutes to fine-tune the plan. Yep, fine-tune the investment. Blah, 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 blah. All good. Most of our TeamSpeak plans take less than a drawing of Sketchwood. Yes, if we want to move to Town on 9-10 bracket, people are going to have to commit heavily. Obviously, not everyone can be available on TeamSpeak for 10 hours of war like I can. But when you have time, you need to do it. Yeah, so this is an issue that we've talked about. You do see guys like Son of Jay, Edgar, myself, Onyx, like we'll all jump on TeamSpeak during a tougher war like this because it takes us 5 to 10 minutes to go over a plan. And so at this moment in time, during arranged wars, I will always give preference to people that do TeamSpeak. So when we're making arranged wars, if I have to make a tough cut, I'm going to end up cutting guys like Roost, Psy, guys that don't use TeamSpeak and don't use GroupMe. But then if I have to make even more cuts, I will cut people like for example, like some of these new guys. I think we've already seen 7 through 12. But even some guys like I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like Lazy Man 1 hasn't used TeamSpeak yet. A couple of the new guys, Grazi, QE, Webby, they haven't used TeamSpeak yet. Granted, they've only been in the clan for one war. But ultimately, yes, if you use TeamSpeak, you will be given a higher priority for arranged wars. For just kind of these random wars where we just kind of hit the search button, it's really hard to say like, oh, we absolutely must use TeamSpeak, because some guys don't, have the time maybe on like a Monday or Tuesday night to jump on TeamSpeak and kind of have 5 to 10 minutes to go over the plan. It helps that I have a schedule that allows me to work from early in the morning until mid-afternoon, so I can jump on at night. So yes, I agree with you to a certain extent, Damasta, that TeamSpeak is very important. At this time, I'm not sure that we're going to make it a requirement for every single war, because ultimately what's going to happen is people are going to burn out. And so if this was a farming war, if this was like a very, very easy war, we wouldn't have noticed it, right? So the question then becomes, when we pop a really hard war during the middle of the week, and some people just can't get on TeamSpeak, because even someone like LT is someone who is on TeamSpeak quite a bit. I'm not sure he was on for a ton of the war, this war, and that's okay. I'm pretty sure this war happened on Sunday night. He got both of his attacks in, then he went to work on Monday morning, and so he just can't invest that kind of time into TeamSpeak on a Sunday night. And then your final comment here on the GroupMe is, on top of that, the war times are horrible for you, at least, to make most of your attacks. You have to wait till the last hour of war under the current circumstances. That is unfortunate, but we kind of have the same sort of style of we definitely cater more towards people that are kind of on Eastern Standard Time. So that's kind of on you to figure out, like, can you maybe you're someone who has to switch your style, right? Maybe instead of waiting until the final hour of war, is there a way that you could go like bases 1, 2, and 3 all needed to be hit early on in war? Could you hit one of those early and then save your last attack to the final hour of war, so that you're not kind of sitting around waiting? So, yeah. Thank you for the feedback. I hope that you don't mind that I made it all public, but I'm definitely a fan of getting things out in the open. I think that a lot of what you said is things that I've said before too, that ultimately if we're going to be a high-level war clan, people are going to need to kind of commit to kind of the higher-level war stuff. I agree with that philosophy. But in the meantime, what I would rather see as a step forward is I would rather see more people engaged on the front half of war days, on the prep days. We have 23 hours of prep day, and even though some bases might change, it wouldn't hurt if some of the guys that are in wave 1 just kind of get some feedback on a base that's maybe currently up and showing. Call a base as if it's not going to change, because you never know if the enemy doesn't change it. You can kind of just go in after that and get in early in war, and maybe we can avoid some of these issues. But yes, I think feedback as a whole is a team-wide issue. It's not something that one person can fix. It's not something that I can create a lot of rules and regulations for. You know me, I love creating kind of rules and guidelines for everything. But at a certain point in time, it would become a little tedious if we start making, everyone's got to get on TeamSpeak and go over all of their different plans. I would encourage anyone that has not been on TeamSpeak but that is in Maine to this point in time to definitely get on it. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about all of that. So once again, summaries. Damasta, take a step back during war day. I know that it might be tough for you. I know you're an outspoken guy, but message me. Reach out to me one-on-one instead of reaching out in public. And then for everyone else, there's definitely an issue in our clan currently around how we're doing this, right? So this is our second trip into the Town Hall 10-9 bracket, and we're off to a little bit of a similar start that we were off in the first time. Fortunately for us, we ran into a clan that did not really know how to 3-star our bases. So that is something that it helps, right? Because they left a lot more Town Hall 9s kind of not cleared on the bottom, and that's the reason why we won this war. But ultimately, against any war that really knows, or against any clan that really knows what they're doing, we would be in serious trouble. So I think that's really all I have to say for this war. I think I kept it pretty friendly for the most part. Definitely some guys I called out, and I'm sorry if you don't like getting called out in public. Um, but yeah, I mean that's how we get better, right? So guys like Psy, Roost, and Brainiac Z, who we don't hear a lot from during war days, we need to start hearing from you guys a little bit more. Otherwise, like I said, this is never intended to be like a rude comment, right? But otherwise, maybe this just isn't the clan for you, and that's not a bad thing. That just kind of just is what it is, right? There are clans that are structured in certain ways. There are clans out there that they do anti 3-star strategies, and maybe they use Clash Caller still, or they use like 12-hour timers. There just might be better fits out there. And so, as much as we kind of get used to, oh, well, I'm a part of the Goodfellas and I like this group of guys, at some point in time, if the structure or the system doesn't work for you, maybe it's best to just go and find another clan. If you don't want to do the feedback thing, if you just kind of want to go in and just do your own thing, there are definitely clans out there that will take, a 43% 3-star percentage. 43%, you're kind of on the verge of kind of being a guy that can at least get one triple of war, so that's great. Someone like Psy, you definitely have to try and figure out, like, well, how am I going to improve from this 28% 3-star percentage that I'm currently at to kind of get to the next level? And playing by yourself makes that a lot harder. Trust me. I've seen players that unfortunately play the game by themselves, and they take a long time to get there. So I think that is all I got for you guys for this war. I know it's been a really, really long video, pushing almost an hour at this point. I'm not sure if everyone's going to stick with me to the end, but I hope that this incites some conversation. Definitely put something in our family chat on GroupMe and talk a little bit around planning and execution and what we can do better. I wish I had created a list of kind of takeaways for the end of the video, but what I guess I do some of the quick ones. If you haven't gotten on TeamSpeak yet, get on TeamSpeak. If you have no desire to get on TeamSpeak whatsoever and you're in Maine, let me know immediately. It does not mean you're going to be kicked out of the clan, but it is something that I would like to know. 2, if you're a Town Hall 10, your job is no longer to clear Town Hall 9s. Your job is to 2-star Town Hall 10s and Town Hall 11s at the beginning of war. So stay off those Town Hall 9s, get those Town Hall 10s and 11s 2-starred. As much as possible, I would like to shift. This is going to be something a little bit new, but it would be nice for these guys here, these final 5 Town Hall 9-ish tags. So Onyx, Ignasty was done by DK, Liquid, and Jake. As much as humanly possible, it would be great to kind of shift our focus to final 4 hours being dedicated to the Town Hall 10s. That's definitely how they do it in other war clans. Now, other war clans have more Town Hall 10s than we do. But guys like Tread Easy, as you can see, 53 minutes and 9 minutes, he kind of does have to wait till the end because he does have 40 heroes. So that means that he's going to need to be either gemming or boosting. And so if we can kind of get all the Town Hall 9 attacks done in the first 20 hours of war, that's really going to help the Town Hall 10s know if they have to dip or not. Because that is important, but it's only important as long as the Town Hall 11s and 10s are 2-starred. Because ultimately our Town Hall 10s and 11s need to do that first. But then if all those are 2-starred, if we have Town Hall 9s left on the map, that is what guys like Tread Easy and Demasta will kind of need to know. So just keep all that in mind. Ultimately, we snuck away with a 67-64 victory. A lot of our bases held up pretty well here. Demasta is over in TGF Rising, I believe, for the moment. But definitely a couple of things, right, that could be fixed. Enemies 1, 2, and 3 were the Town Hall 10s and 11s, so we'll skip all that. But maybe some of you guys that had only one attack on your base. Nick's gone, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But here, Psy, this is going to be a great example. This war recap video is going to come out after our next war starts. So Psy, we're gonna kind of call you out a little bit. We're gonna see if you actually change your war base. It got tripled on the first attack. So let's go ahead and take a look at what war base you ran. This is definitely one of the things that I think is pretty low level in our clan. Just changing war bases. If your war base gets tripled in a first attack, you need to change it. So this is what Psy's base looks like, and I'm gonna show how the enemy tripled it on the first attack in 4x speed. And when the next war pops, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at size base and see if he changed it. And so max level Big Daddy P.E.K.K.A coming on in. Everything to this point seems to be going well for the enemy here. Dead zone spot basically just makes nice pathing for the hogs. Always been the reason why I'm not a huge fan. That bomb is horrible. That double gets tripped one at a time. Does end up running out of hogs, but has a P.E.K.K.A coming around the outside. So wasn't the cleanest attack by the enemy by any stretch. But all 4 bombs exposed. 2 singles, which tend to be a little bit easier to deal with. Singles tend to be used best when they're away from the double bomb set. Just as an FYI, just because it forces them to burn a heal. You could obviously see in a scenario where they burn a heal kind of in that area and kind of protect everything. So definitely a base that I expect to be changed on our next war, and we will see if you do it. And a lot of these guys down here, QE, Jay Sweezy, soaking up 5 attacks, and so kind of get a look at their bases, see what kind of general principles they have, and then see if you can translate that into a more larger picture. So we are 2 minutes short of an hour, so I'm going to end this video. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that some of you will watch it all the way through and kind of think more about it. Remember that just because we have harder bases doesn't mean that we have to spend so much more time during our planning phase, right? We have the knowledge, skills, and the abilities to be able to take these bases out. And so it just might take an extra few minutes to really come up with that plan. But this should not be something that takes us, it should be something that stresses us out to this point. So War 223, 223 victories for us. It was a tough one, but we'll be better for it. Thanks for sticking with me this far. I will catch you guys next time.